Hello? Yeah, that wasn't like a mic check. That was actually hello. Oh, there you go. Good morning, church. Good morning, church. Oh man, that sounds so nice this morning. Hey, yeah, God is love. Wow. Hey, I'm Ronnie. For those of you who walked in for the worship part of the morning, Roni Bhullar. I'm a foster parent. I'm a foster parent in Haiti. I serve alongside my wife, Stephanie. We have 7 kids in our home between the ages of 2 and 6. You can start praying for me now. Thank you. Let's see. I want to go back a bit here to the scripture. I'd go right there. Great. Okay. So I reached out to Jimmy a couple weeks ago. Hey, what's the theme? What's the theme for the year? What are y'all talking about? So I can kind of get an idea of like, well, what's the message that maybe you all need to hear? So just to describe a bit of my preparation for that, I'm a runner, so I do a lot of my like praying and sermon prep while running. Okay, for about 5 minutes, and then I just start thinking about how hot it is. Okay, thanks. So while doing that, I guess the theme is love your neighbor, right? Is that still consistent, or did we change that for second quarter? No? All right. It's love your neighbor. So I have something to start off and read here. So hopefully it's still there. My goodness, it's still there. And if you recognize these words after I'm done, raise your hand. Okay? It goes a little something like this. It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. See where I'm going with this? A beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood. A neighborly day for a beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I've always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. And since we're together, we might as well say, if you know the words, go ahead. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Won't you please? Won't you please? Please won't you be my neighbor? Where's that from? Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. So when I heard love your neighbor, I'm like, oh, yeah, finally, I get to work in Mr. Rogers with church. Like, this is great. Okay, that was my opportunity. So, neighbor. Love your neighbor. It's 3 words. But then I get to thinking about words sometimes and their meaning and how they affect me. Words have a lot of power. So I'm going to jump in on that. Love your neighbor. Well, gang, what does it mean to love? We all have a lot of different ideas about what that looks like, the action of loving. And I'm looking up, what Webster says and what Wikipedia says, and what the people around me tell me. And to love, I think, is to unconditionally accept and respect. It's to unconditionally accept and respect. Is that an easy thing to do? No, it's not. No. Neighbor. When you think about your neighbor, we often think about the person living beside us, the person that's right next to you. I live in Haiti. We all know that. So I start thinking to myself, well, is my neighbor the person that I'm going to love? Is that the person that's right next to me? Or do I want to think about neighbor is not the person, for me now, not the person that's living next to me, but my fellow human being? Okay? Could we start to think about our neighbor not as white, not as Republican, not as Democrat, okay? Non-Christian, Christian, Muslim, but can we start to think about our fellow neighbor as our fellow human being? So, yeah, why fellow human being? my neighbor, my fellow human being outside of my gates, they live in a stick house. Some of them don't have houses. Some of them are starving. Some of them are malnourished. Some of them do not have the mom, the dad, the resources available at a young age to have the mental capacity to convey how they feel. So they can only really convey anger and happiness and nothing in between. My fellow human being, when they get sick, their answer is voodoo, is black magic. My fellow human being at times doesn't see me the way that I see them, Eric. They don't see me as, oh, well, you're a good guy. They see me as a resource because I'm white. You know, I'm in my white phase because I haven't seen vitamin D or sunshine for like a week. Where's the sun at? Seriously. But they see me as a resource for money. They see me as a resource for money, not because they're evil, but because they have a need. Because they have a need to survive. So even though my neighbor, my fellow human being, sees me as a resource, and sometimes I feel like they don't see me for the human being that I am, that I wish they would, it makes it hard then to return that love, to unconditionally accept and respect them and their situation. But I think we need to remember, in order to love, we need God. I need God to do my work in Haiti. And I tell you what, I ebb and flow. Does anybody ebb and flow with their faith here? Huh? Like 1 week you're like, I'm all in, I'm with it, I'm good. Then something happens, boom, right? Knocks you down. And you're like, God, what gives? Come on! The Patriots won again? I just had to. We're all thinking it on Monday, you know. Patriot Gronkowski, what's the deal with that guy? If there was a bad guy for WWE wrestling, okay, Gronkowski would definitely be the bad guy in professional wrestling. That's all I had to say. That's my football bit. Yeah, so we need God to be able to love. All right. Now to need God, well, there's got to be some dance, you know. There's got to be some sort of relationship going on here. So now I'm going to jump into the text. And as I was reading through this, what jumped out at me was this. Let's see if it can jump out at me again. Find it. It is, anyone who does not love does not know God, because God is love. Well, that's pretty heavy, right? Anyone who does not love does not know God, because God is love. And the word that jumps out to me, it's not love, it's know. K-N-O-W. I'm not very well read, gang, and I'm not going to pretend to be, but I've heard that biblically when we start talking about the word know, to know, that implies relationship. That implies an attachment, a bond between us and our Creator, our Father, our God, the big guy, right? So let's keep going here. So I ask myself, well, do I know God? Well, how do I know that? Well, I love my kids. I love my wife. Well, does that then mean that I'm also in relationship with God? And I still don't get it. And I struggle with that. But then how do you take a big concept like, you know, your relationship with God, your Father, your Creator, and understand it? And for me, wow, those 7 kids in my home, treat me, they teach me so much. When I want to open up my eyes and open up my ears, they teach me so much. So then I start thinking to myself, is my relationship with them as their father figure, and they're my children, is that how it's kind of with the big guy, with the Creator, with my Father? Is it like that? You know? So I have there's 7 kids, you know, but they all have their real names, you know, like Michael. His name's not really Michael. Did you know that? It's Michael. Don't do that. They're like Silas. It's not even like a real word. It's Silas. Like that. Bonet is more of a tone. It's like Bonet. So, yeah. When they make a mess, now think to yourself, when the children make a mess. Now, as I'm going with this, be with me, church, okay? When they make a mess, when we make a mess in life. Are you with me? Can I get an amen, please? Thank you. When they whine, when they complain, when we complain. Yeah. Thank you so much. But when they whine, when they make the mess in their lives, do I still love them? Yes, I do. I may not like them. I'll be honest. I mean, if you 100% of the time like your kids, you're lying. That's just how it goes. If you've got kids, you know. But being the father figure for them, I know what they need. We've heard that before, okay? But until you put it into a context that we can grasp that is tangible, well, you know, our Father, our God, we've heard that He knows what we need. And how many times we just agree? We're just like, yeah, you know what I need, obviously, okay? Because there's what we want. The children. I want the cookie. We can't have the cookie because you've eaten 12 and then you won't eat your dinner. You know, I want that car. I want the house. You know, I want that stuff. You know, I want to feel like I'm respected. I want to feel important. I'm not saying those things don't make life any better. But we got to keep a check on ourselves because we complain. We want that cookie. I just had a cookie from Eaton Park the other day. It was really good, by the way. So, I think to myself, and I've heard and I've read, you know, a little bit. Y'all heard that thing about how we serve a mysterious God, you know, and we're not supposed to understand His ways. Y'all heard that? Yes. Yes? I'm hearing some talk from here, but yes? Have we heard that? Yeah. Well, then I wonder to myself, do the children in my home understand my ways? Do they understand why bedtime is at 6:30? Do they understand why? Well, obviously, the sun's going down. That's why. I expect that one to be funny. Maybe I have to reevaluate my process. Oh, yeah. But, yeah, are they at times just bewildered by what I'm doing or by what I'm telling them to do? So then I think to myself as well, I don't understand God's ways, and I'm told I'm not supposed to understand God's ways. It's highly frustrating, but is that the dance? Is that? I'm not saying that is. I'm asking you, is that? So when you leave out here today, you know, maybe carry that question with you. So when you're out on your run, you know, and that might be at Walmart doing one of these with the new self-checkout thing, that thing's wild. That's like Star Trek meets grocery shopping. What do you mean? Put it in the bag? I mean, I could leave now? Really? No, wait, you got out at it, sir. Well, that's 15 minutes of my life. Well, that's just... Anyway. I didn't know anything about that till I came to Somerset. I mean, Somerset's cutting edge these days. Yeah, gang. So where do we go now? Like, what do you do with this? So be still. I suggest this. Be still. Allow some silence, some stillness in your life. We got a lot of busyness in our home. I got a lot of busyness in Haiti, and I know we all have busyness here in America. But allow yourself to be still and listen, reflect on love. Reflect on what that is to unconditionally accept and respect people in your life. And I know that's hard. So if you need to talk to somebody about that, you know, Jimmy, he's got a lot of time. You know, he doesn't do anything. So go ahead and talk to him about it. And always remember that in the venture to love your neighbor, you will need God. You will need God. If you rely on your own fuel, I can tell you that octane's certainly not as than what God can provide. So I thank you for listening this morning. I thank you for being attentive for our presentation and what we're doing in Haiti. May God bless you all, and enjoy your Sunday. Thank you. All right.